Hi, YouTube family. Welcome to Grace Grit and Grind with JD. I needed to come on and share my story. I hear so many out there, and I'm sure so many of you can relate. I sure were able to relate to quite a few stories out there, and I know and I hope that you are inspired. It's crazy out there, it's a tough world out there. So we're in it together. And I wanted to bring us together here, hopefully. But first, a little bit about who I am. I am from the South, born and raised in the Carolinas, and I moved up here to Maryland. Oh, it's a lot different. But I say all of that because it will make a difference later on in my video as I share some of my past experiences. And again, I'm here in Maryland. I met my husband here, born and raised here. And we are a blended family, very unconventional family. Uh, 9 children, not together. He had five. I had one. We had three together. And yeah, interesting. But, thinking back, I worked in the corporate world for, oh my gosh, a couple of decades until I was displaced. I was displaced back in 2012 for site disclosure. Maybe some of you can identify. And then I took a year off and I pondered what was it during that time that I was willing to go back to and that I was not going to go back to. Like, what are some things that I would change about me to make my experience in the corporate world a little different? And I was able to de- determine that because again, from South Carolina, no degree. I was probably one of the few that didn't, of my schoolmates, that didn't go and chase a degree. Maybe I have some regrets. Maybe I don't. I believe that God opened doors that were meant to be open for me. Was busy living the traditional life, getting married, had a couple kids here and there, and I just never had a desire to go to school. And I guess that's okay because, in both of my jobs, I was able to work my way up, thankfully, and provide a decent living for my family. Again, back in the first corporate job, I was displaced and then took a year off, pondered, then went back into the workforce, moved up rather quickly. And I realized I was just working my fingers to the bone and giving them everything I had, coming home to only give the leftovers to my family and to things that I really, really wanted to enjoy, but I was out of energy, out of interest, just drained. I work hard. I work hard for these companies, like some of you out there have done or still doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've gained so much knowledge, so many skills um, that's carrying me today. And so, yes, I found another job in in 2012 actually, and then was displaced again about 3 years ago. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good because you have so many things going through your mind. Was I not good enough? Why did this happen to me? How am I going to feed my family? What is this going to look like? I mean, you start to feel these things. And you know what? For me, I had to allow myself to go through those changes. That's why my channel name is Grace, Grit, and Grind, because if I didn't give myself grace, and I had to look at, well, what does this mean? Well, let me back up because I was in my last job, I was an operations manager in a big corporation and I led a site and well, I was a site leader of a department. So I felt responsible not just for my role, but for the many others that was under my umbrella. I felt like I let them down. So I carried that weight. I felt all kinds of things. Like I said, just failing, not just myself, my family, those other employees that were under my umbrella. I felt like I failed them all. That's dangerous to think that. So but I had to give myself grace. I had to pick myself up and move on with the grace of God, because I've always carried the motto that He is my CEO. God is my CEO. So whatever doors open or close, it's just my job to walk through them. But it's His job to open or close them. And for me to be mindful and discerning of what those doors are. So during my corporate life, I would actually thrift on the side. Like I would find time whenever I could and take my lunch break and go into the thrift shops and just shop, have fun, take a beat, breathe, step away from all the meetings and the rat race and just reset myself. So whenever I was displaced from this last job, guess what I did? Naturally, I gravitated to selling online, and flipping items. Like now, I get to shop and I get to go in these stores and have the mindset, who needs what from the store today? They can't get here. I'm shopping for them. Was kind of gratifying. Yes, it was a long shot from being a corporate lead operations manager um, to reselling. Quite frankly, it could have been somewhat embarrassing to share that. I'm long past that now. I am so far past that. I have to do what protects my peace of mind. And when I look back at my work world and my work life, I didn't have that. I mean, I didn't go on vacations in peace. I had to take my laptop. I couldn't unplug. I couldn't be there fully for my family. And wow, was that unfair? After just taking, if you're in that position to where you were displaced or you felt you were forced to retire early or you're in between jobs, whatever that is, I would encourage you to just take a moment and really think about what a blessing it is to just still have a peace of mind. Yes, I know finances are hard. I am not to where I'm getting a steady paycheck on my own. Yes, we live off of the very minimal income right now. And then if I have good sales, great. If not, one thing I've learned is that I am fully dependent on Him. And I'm not here to try to convince you or to talk you into having my God be your God. That is not what I'm here for. But I'm speaking my truth in my walk. And He has me in a place where I have to fully depend on Him. Yeah, was it easy to sleep at night when I knew I had a paycheck coming in? To a certain extent. But what came with that paycheck is where I lost a lot of my peace and freedom. I was chained to this job and I was fully invested in them. I gave so much of myself. I've learned, I'm grateful for those opportunities. Oh, wow. They weren't as invested in me. They dropped me like a dime. I mean, a penny. And no one ever thinks twice about turning around and picking up a penny. That's what I felt like. But this is why I had to take a minute again, back to that grace word and give myself grace and look back to where I came from. Again, young South Carolina girl with no higher education than high school, some college courses within my jobs, but not pursued, um, you know, on my own. Um, Having to make sure I had this etiquette in the corporate world and that, I had the pressure of representing so many different aspects. The people who look like me, the women, um, older women with uh, older mothers, because I was an older mother. I'm still raising my two daughters, my husband and I. Oh, back to the unconventional family. If you're interested, I'll do another video on that. I will have some videos about that. But we have so many generations that I was raising in my family, like generational gaps, literally. Just to give you an example, my four children, our four that we raised together, there is at least 7.5 years age gap between them. So we're still raising a 11-year-old and a 17-year-old. Oh, and my husband's 21 years older than me. It's interesting. Yeah, he wants to watch Bonanza while I watch Law and Order. Anyway, that's another story. But I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. So, yes, this is where I am. I'm all over the place, but that's my life. My life has been all over the place. Um, you know, I just will want to leave you with this. If you are also trying to figure out if this 9 to 5 is for you, really, I mean, you have to, of course, assess your current standing. I'm not here to tell you what you should and should not do. Again, I'm here to speak my own experience. And I'm telling you, I have so much joy watching my kids being able to just go to their school events without arranging backup and seeing if I can go to my kids' events. That's the other thing. Oh my gosh, I can just it's work. Yes, it's work. I have again, let me back up and say that I've started my full-time reselling business and I have incorporated my kids. I've hired them. Literally hired them. So yes, they actually have a job and it helps. So if you want more information about that, let me know. But I am enjoying it and I'm teaching them some things that I've learned in my work world and in my work life, such as responsibility, such as customer service, such as timeliness, such as quality work, um, promptness, um, just taking pride in what you do and teaching them that, ethics goes far. Hard work does go far, but you can work hard for yourself. I think about all the blood, sweat, and tears I put in these companies that I can't say they didn't care about me, but I can say they didn't care about me. But I also take away some gems and some great, irreplaceable learning um, nuggets that will carry me and that I'm able to pass on to my children, and hopefully they can pass on to their children. And showing them that, hey, and me, and showing myself that I can be, we are a resistant, we are overcomers. We can do what we put our mind to. Our experience, and I'm going to speak this is specifically for those who have lived a life. Again, I'm over 50. So yes, I have earned the opportunity and the privilege to share. My life is now my legacy. I have earned the right to really share what I know and the privilege to share what I know with not only my children, but for those of you who are out there and maybe even new to the work world. Um, I know that some people have they've gotten these degrees, and now it's hard to find a job. I get that, and good for you for going through that and getting the education, because now do something with it on your own. Maybe you don't need this company to do that with. And I don't want to tell you what to do, but I am going to say, if you use what you've been given, all the talent and skills that you've naturally been given, you can go far with or without a paper. And yes, you may make a little bit more with the paper, but listen, it's not about what you make, it's about what you do with it. And God has blessed me to make some decent financial decisions. But enough about that. I just want to encourage those who are either in between jobs, you feel that your life is over 50 as far as working. It's not. You have so much you've experienced. I look back and I realize I have so much that I can offer. Um, I ask me anything as far as, leading in a corporate environment. Absolutely love it. I did love meeting the people. I did love my job, which is why I gave and put so much into it when I was there and when it was supposed to be a 9 to 5. But then it flows over to you doing the work of 5 people, and they expect you to do the overtime. And of course, in leadership positions, you don't have 40-hour work weeks. There's no such thing. You're definitely going to go over that. And I have burnt out. But you know what? Sometimes it takes those doors to close for you to realize how burnt out you really are. It took that from me. It, I would have probably kept going and I would have missed out on so much of my kids' life I already had with my older ones. And I shudder to think, gosh, what would it have been if they didn't close the door? So sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. Whenever those doors are closed, then that means let's see what the next door is. Sometimes we've acquired these skills and these talents that have gone dormant because we've been in such a routine. Um, I know I've been in a routine. You get up, you may have coffee on your way to work, and I love my coffee. I do. Um, it's not much left, but excuse me. Now I get up and have my coffee on my time, not rushing to the next meeting, not regretting um, having my own business right now. No, it's not making what I used to make. It's not. But gosh, money cannot replace the freedom and the peace and the value of time that I get to spend with my family. The phone call I get from my mother, who's in her 80s, I I don't have to put her on hold for a meeting. I don't have to say I'll call back and I'll help you with your your issues because she's there alone. It's not it's irreplaceable, and I get emotional thinking about just having the freedom to do that with her now. And again, no, not making what I used to. I think about some of the downs, I guess potentially downside is, I can't just go and sit in a restaurant and take my girls and our family out and just order whatever we want like I could before. No, I can't just go on and schedule a vacation like I used to, be able to just without really thinking twice. But now I have to think twice about those things, sometimes 3 times. But I don't regret it. I think just that I don't care if we're sharing a meal, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We don't share one sandwich, but I'm just saying, sitting at the table and just having a home cooked meal more often than we used to is irreplaceable. And the other thing is now when we go out, it's valuable. It's so rich because we are sitting, it feels new because we don't do it so often. And we really get to sit there and look each other in the face and talk about the day that we had. And I get to really catch up with who they are, what they've experienced that day, who their friends are. I didn't do that. I was drained trying to chase a dollar, but I can't get that minute back with my kids. I can always make another dollar. I can't always make another minute. And I can't get that time back. But we move forward with what we have. We move forward with the opportunities that we have. And for that, I am so, again, I'm so grateful. Um, I'm sure there's so many things I want to share, and I'm all over the place. Again, first video, but I had to do it. And I'm glad that I'm doing it. Um, because if it helped at least one of you, it wouldn't be in vain. I will have some future videos about, gosh, how that 9 to 5 quietly stole some things from me, such as my peace. Um, gosh, a lot of time, quality time. And again, I'm grateful for, and I just keep saying grateful because I really and truly am for this opportunity. It's easy to focus on what doesn't go well and what hasn't gone well and the position you're in and what you don't have and what you're used to having and what others have. But the mindset I'm in right now is, gosh, I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for what I did get the chance to experience. I'm grateful for the ways I've grown because of those experiences. I'm grateful that I now have the opportunity to take time, breathe, and pass along those encounters and those experiences and those skills now that I've acquired, to my children and to others, mentors, um, any other young and up and coming leaders. Just, I'm grateful that I had those opportunities and that I can share that. So I encourage you that even though things have shifted, the routine has stopped or changed drastically, gosh, grasp the what's new and think about things that you can do now. I know that since I've been out of the routine of going to work, um, at first I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, well, what am I going to do with this time? You know, and I tell you, the other great thing is that when I first lost this last job, I really thought that I would only be able to make it for 5 to 6 months off of what I had saved. Not to dip into my long-term savings, but this was just what I had put away. Um, and people would ask me, well, how soon do you think you'll need to get another 9 to 5? Yeah, you're doing this resale thing and this thrifting thing. How long would that last? And I'm like, oh yeah, maybe 5 to 6 months. I have to go back, and the 9 to 5 grind and work for someone else and work to help their dreams come true. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's been over 3 years, and we are thriving because we have grit. And yes, we're grinding, but it's for us. And again, that's just one avenue stream. I have since also acquired a part-time work on my schedule type gig that you'd be surprised. I am also a lice technician, and that's what that is. Yes, I said lice technician. I provide concierge service. I go to people's homes and I help relieve their stress by removing lice from everyone in their household's heads if they have them. So I check it, but I look at it as I you couldn't tell me I would have been doing that. I can't even believe I'm doing it sometimes. But you know what? There was a deeper meaning behind just going to someone's home and removing lice. I'm removing their stress. I'm making new friends. I am getting out there, meeting new people. I wouldn't be able to do that just sitting behind a screen and behind a phone in an office. I've met photographers, I've met lawyers and attorneys, I've met doctors, I've met other entrepreneurs, I've met, my favorite thing is I've met the best kids in the world. And it's not because of really anything that I'm doing other than helping them relieve their stress from a head itch. So to me, it's deeper than just that physical aspect of that job. It is, again, meeting new people. And oh my goodness, I often have to check and look at my uniform. And I ask myself, well, does it read, I am your consultant for the day? Because people need to share. People are going through so much. So I am most privileged that they trust me enough to share their stress points outside of the lights. They have shared their stories, their walks, their just so much personal stuff with me. So I'm not only there just to help remove their lice, but to help them release some of this pressure that the daily grind brings to us, and toxically, that's a word, just fill us with toxicity and stress and pressure to just get it all done, to do it right. And not only just the work, then you come home and you have to be the mother, you have to be the wife, you have to be that daughter, that sister, that auntie, that uncle. You have to be the grandpa, the grandmother. You have to be that friend. You have to be that neighbor. You have to be you. You're still not done being depleted. It's a lot. It's so much. And we sometimes don't realize that until we're out of that 9 to 5-ish. Mine was more often 9 to 9, but that's another story for another day. Grind. So until we step away, or until that door is closed, we don't realize how depleting it is. So, my friends, I say, let's hang on. Let's do what we do. Let's dig deep. Realize that we have so much more to give. And it doesn't have to be within those 4 walls anymore. We can go out and just be perfectly us. And I've heard it said that a job is what we do. It's not who we are. So a job is what you do. It's not who you are. Follow me for my next video about how the 9 to 5 can slowly steal your peace. Until next time, thanks, my friends.